Okay, guys, I shaved the bottom half of my face. But at what cost? Because now I look fat. Probably because I am. Anyways, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hayden, aka Project Superfan, and welcome, finally, at long last, to the IFL Predictions video for 2026. That's right, in this video we're going to be predicting the IFL season, the championship game, and the winner of said championship game in Tucson, Arizona. But before we start, I have 3 rules I want to get into on how this video is going to be structured. Rule number 1, we will start off in the Western Conference. If you want to skip to the Eastern Conference, feel more than free to do so, but I will have all of my standings and my final results for each team posted in the comments. And also, I will have a visual on screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Rule number 2, we will start with teams who I think are bottom of the conference all the way to the top at the number 1 seed. And rule number 3, I can take constructive criticism, but if you are going to be an asshole to me in my comment section because you didn't like where I predicted your team, sorry buddy, I'm gonna have to fight back with you on that, because let's face it, the internet can be a very dangerous place at times. So if you guys were like, I don't like how you did this or that or whatever, guess what, buddy? It's just a prediction video, and it's never that serious. So with that out of the way, let's get into our first team in the Western Conference. The San Antonio Gunslingers are going to come dead last in the Western Conference, and I'll explain why. First offender, you have a new head coach. That never works out well, at least in its first year in sports. Number 2, I have seen so much of you guys' talent not be re-signed, so much of your talent going to other teams, or being called up to other leagues like the UFL. At the end of the day, what do you guys have? You guys did just sign Fred Payton, a quarterback from, I think, Albany in the AF1, to be reasonable, which is good. That's good. But you guys are still trying to find that replacement for Sam Castronova, and it's like, it's hard to replace Sam. It's hard to. So, with that being said, I think San Antonio is going to come dead last in the conference, unfortunately for them. But hey, do not let this be a discouragement. San Antonio has a really passionate fan base. I know they're going to show up for their games. I know they're going to show up when we play them here in Tulsa at the BOK Center. But it's just not you guys' year. Now let's move on to the second team who will come right in front of them in the Western Conference. The Northern Arizona Wranglers are going to be drastically improved this year, but they're still not going to make the playoffs. I like the Northern Arizona Wranglers. They've already won 1 league championship, but ever since then they've been trying to rebuild and regrow. And I think it's going to be more the same this year. Not because you guys have a bad coach or because you guys have a bad team, because you guys have a great leader of men in the locker room. And you guys have a great roster. You guys are improving day by day. If you're a Wranglers fan, you love to see that. You guys also have a very passionate fan base. But right now, I just do not see Northern Arizona doing anything in such a competitive conference. Now, let's move on to the final team who will not qualify for the playoffs. The Tucson Sugar Skulls are going to also be drastically improved. Even though they have a first-year coach, he is no stranger to the game, no stranger to IFL and arena football, and they have signed some massive talent. Similar to Northern Arizona, Tucson has a massive booster club following. It's so fun. It's such a great thing to be a part of. Shout out to all the members of the Northern Arizona Wranglers and Tucson Sugar Skulls booster clubs. They're great. They're a great bunch. They pay for the players' meals, hotels, and they do a lot of great things for the community there in Tucson and Northern Arizona. And you love to see that. I just don't think with, again, such a competitive conference and with the talent signings like that you in Northern Arizona have already signed, I just don't think it's going to be enough to be really, really that good. However, like I said, there is high hope for the future for both of these teams. Yeah, let's face it. Tucson and Northern Arizona have very passionate fan bases and booster clubs. The talent signings are starting to pick up, and the ownership is really starting to get better now that Kevin Guy isn't using Tucson as a feeder team. But right now, this is good. This is exactly what you want to see. It's going to be better over time. Right now, I just don't see him doing much in the Western Conference, and that's super competitive. But hey, the future is looking bright for Northern Arizona, and Tucson. Now let's talk about the team who I think is going to come in the 4th seed. You are going to roast me for this one, I'm sure of it. New Mexico has some great talent they've signed already. The Chupacabras have signed the old Vegas Nighthawks quarterback, who I think was a New Mexico native, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he just went to Vegas because it was like the closest team to him. But hey, he's back home, and they have a new head coach in their first year that has a lot of experience with the indoor/arena game as well. I genuinely think anything is possible for New Mexico in its first year. They could be dead last, they could be first, you never know. But one thing's for certain, New Mexico is back. They are so back. Back beyond belief back. Whether they make it to the 4th seed like I'm predicting or not is to be determined. But if they have any remote source of fan base over New Mexico, which I'm sure they do, and of course, if they can just glue and mesh well together, then that team could be looking very scary within the next few years. Now let's move on to the team that is going to be the 3rd seed in my book in the Western Conference. Where do we start with these guys, man? Arizona is always going to be good, or at least somewhat competitive. This isn't news to anybody. They have a massive fan base over there in Arizona. The downfall of this team is going to be Kevin Guy. Let's face it, it's going to be Kevin Guy. Last year, we all saw what happened with Kevin Guy and the Arizona Rattlers. They had a big old hissy fit after they lost that playoff game to, I forget, was it San Diego or was it Vegas? I don't even remember. But I know that they lost a playoff game. The whole indoor football world rejoiced, except for Arizona. Of course, Kevin Guy just had to be a little baby about it. Yeah, Kevin Guy with his ego and his just how he does things, it's going to be a massive downfall coming for Arizona. And I'm just saying this now so you guys aren't all shocked when it happens. Don't get me wrong, Kevin Guy is an excellent indoor football coach, but his ego is going to be the problem with this team. Even though we all saw Arizona sign the backup quarterback that they always wanted and Green Bay's former starting quarterback that led him to a championship, I still think Kevin Guy is going to have some problems on his hands. Whether those are good problems or bad problems are all to be decided. But again, his ego, just how he runs his team, and among other things, I think they're going to have some problems and they're going to lose in the first round. Now, let's talk about the 2nd seed in the West. If I wasn't roasted for that New Mexico take, San Diego, this take is going to absolutely haunt me till I die. I have a lot of faith in Nate Davis. Even though he is aging and even though he is an older quarterback, he's a veteran. He knows his way around an offense. He knows his way in the game. And that is exactly what San Diego is banking on this year. Plus, they have signed a lot of reasonable talent. Their coach is a natural proven leader of men. And with all of this, I think it's just so easy to get behind Nate Davis and the San Diego Strike Force train this year. In the end, even though they do make the playoffs, I still have them losing in the 2nd round to the defending champions of the IFL. The 1 seed will easily be the Vegas Nighthawks. They're reloading. They're going back-to-back in the Western Conference. We all know it. We all see it. Their coach is absolutely stout on everything. Not gonna lie, watching Off the Wall's interview with the Vegas Nighthawks coach, it's easy to get behind him. He is just that guy. He knows what he's doing. We will see Northern Arizona, San Antonio, and Tucson not qualify, but Arizona and New Mexico get eliminated in the first round, and Vegas beating San Diego in the 2nd round to move on to the IFL Championship game in the Western Conference. Now let's move on to the East. The first team that is not going to qualify in my mind is the Iowa Barnstormers. Iowa has such great things to look forward to. Andre Coles, our former offensive coordinator. Andre Coles is great. He genuinely meant a lot to the city of Tulsa, and he meant a lot to this franchise. Now he's going to go get another head coaching job with Iowa, and he's already making a culture change, and you love to see that. I still think in his first year, though, getting used to being a head coach again, and of course with all the talent moving around so much, I still think Iowa's going to come dead last in the Eastern Conference. But hey, they got a lot to look forward to over there in Iowa. Next team that is not going to qualify? The Orlando Pirates are going to be one of those teams that I think are going to be very, very interesting this year. I do think there's just too many question marks with this team overall for them to even sniff the playoffs in 2026. It goes back to the players that are moving up from IFL to UFL. Again, with the coaching, I think the coaching will be solid, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Not to mention, Orlando, you guys should just be thankful you guys have an indoor/arena football team again. Jesus Christ, you guys have a lot to work on. And this is kind of like baby steps this year in a way. They did just get done moving from Massachusetts, so there's going to be a lot of new things to get used to, a lot of new people to meet, a lot of new community work to do. I think this is just going to be a baby steps year, to be quite honest. Looking forward to see what Orlando does down the road, because again, when they were in Massachusetts, they didn't have a big fan base, but the ones that showed up. And I know a lot of people who are still going to be following the team, like M Pirates Nation. Chris from Shady Sports Network is still going to be following the team. And I'm excited to see where they go from here, but right now I just don't see anything like Orlando going to the playoffs, at least this year. And I want to be proven wrong, like I mentioned, but I just don't see it this year. The final team that I think will not be qualifying this year in the Eastern Conference. Before BJ or any other Green Bay fans type in the comments, look, man, I know, you all had your chance. You all had your chance to make a run at the championship, and you made it to the championship, but then you all lost a lot of your talent. Last year was the best chance I think you guys have had to sniff a championship in a long time. And while I think Green Bay still has a great fan base, and while I think they are going to show up consistently for their games, they're going to have to get used to not making the playoffs again, because Jesus, like, let's be real. Like, I'm serious, man. Like, there's so much you guys are going to have to get used to over there in Green Bay with not seeing a winning team on the football field for the first time in a while. Now, there are some positives to Green Bay this year. They have re-signed Mevis, who is by far the best kicker in the league right now. And, of course, they do have at least a percentage of that championship squad coming back to see if they can run it back in the IFL Championship. Yeah, about that. Not going to happen. Now, let's shift our focus to the first team that will make the playoffs, the 4th seed. The Fishers Freight are going to be a team this year. They ended off last year on a 5-win streak, and we all know they're capable of being good. Now, Fishers is one of those teams that can be good or very bad. I think with Dixie Wooten, a coach who has been tenured in this league, I think that they could be in the 4th seed at the very best. Last year, I said that they were a new team. They're going to have a lot of kinks to work out, and it looks like seemingly come toward the end of the year, they worked out all those kinks. So we're going to see if they can actually back up their talk and their offseason hype on the field. Now let's go to the 3rd seed. The Jacksonville Sharks are going to be one of those teams that everyone's going to love to hate this year. Whether it's just their fans being some of the most obnoxious in the world, let's be quite honest with that. Like, they have some really obnoxious fans, and one who I hate a little bit more than others, for good reason. As I predict them in the 3 seed, their fans are going to be obnoxious. They're truly going to be insufferable. And we all know that. Their team isn't necessarily the issue. And their coach is pretty decent, I'd say. And they have a lot to build on from last year. But their fans are going to be insufferable this year. But regardless of their flaws with fandom and the fact that they're still getting used to this game, from jumping ships from the NAL to here, I still think there's going to be a big chance that they make it to the 3rd seed this year. Fishers and Jacksonville are going to be eliminated in the first round, don't get me wrong. Now let's move on to the 2 seed. My team. The Tulsa motherfucking Oilers. TJ Edwards is going to lead this team when he comes back to a very respectable record in the Eastern Conference, and we will be 2 seed in the playoffs. Let's face it, Tulsa fans, I'm only going to 1 game this year, but you guys don't need me. I'm just a spoke on the wheel. The wheel's going to keep turning, and we have the best fans in the entire IFL by far, and for good reason. Tulsa loves its football. And when TJ Edwards and this roster comes back stronger than ever, we will be number 2, and we will make it to the 2nd round, and we will win a playoff game, unlike last year. But the sad truth of it is, we have a team that is going to run this conference all year. And honestly, from what some people are saying, are going to have a chance of going 16-0. You're probably wondering, who the hell am I talking about? I think you know who I'm talking about. The Quad City Steam Wheelers, in my mind, will be #1 in the Eastern Conference, and they will be going to the championship game over in Tucson. Let's be real, guys. Everyone is scared as hell of Quad City this year. Quad City is one of those teams that is just reloading and getting better and better and better and better. I think it's the overall consensus here. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Green Bay eliminated them last year, but they were this close to making it to the championship game. It was one of those games that was just overall one of the best games in the history of this league last year. But now with the teams they're getting players from, and of course the reloading that they're doing on both sides of the ball, and even special teams, it's going to be hard to say that this team doesn't go 16-0 this year. They have so much talent, and all of that talent is going to get them in the championship game against Vegas this year. So with that, this is our final standings. In the West, we have Northern Arizona, San Antonio, and Tucson, who are not qualifying. And then we have Arizona, New Mexico, San Diego, and Vegas making the playoffs. Arizona and New Mexico will be eliminated in the first round, and San Diego will be eliminated by Vegas in the championship round to move on to Tucson. And in the East, meanwhile, we have the Green Bay Blizzard, the Iowa Barnstormers, and the Orlando Pirates that are not going to be qualifying, as a recap. But Fishers, Jacksonville, Tulsa, and Quad City will be in the playoffs in my predictions. Fishers and Jacksonville will be eliminated in the first round, signified by the orange. Tulsa will be eliminated in the second game in the Eastern Conference playoffs. And then Quad City will be punching their ticket to the championship in Tucson. But now the question lies, who do I think is going to be the champion this year? Will it be Vegas going back-to-back, or will Quad City put a reign to an end? I think Quad City is going to win the championship. Again, just Quad City being the way that they are right now, just like, they seem unstoppable. Like, everyone is going to circle this game on their calendars if they're playing Quad City and be like, damn, that team is phenomenal. Both are going to be hard to stop. Let's be clear on that. But I think Quad City, just overall with the talent that they've signed, is just going to be so damn impressive to watch this year. They have a chance to be the league's next dynasty. And let's be clear on something. I think this is going to be exactly how this plays out. Now, I want to be proven wrong, like I mentioned in the very beginning. But if this is how this plays out, and Quad City becomes a dynasty in this league, don't say I didn't warn you. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Man, this is going to be a very good season. I'm sure of it. We still have a little over a month to go, but we're almost there. If you guys want more content like this, be sure to like, comment, share, and most importantly, be sure to subscribe so I can make more content like this for you all in the future. And to those who have already liked, comment, shared, and subscribed, I thank you for all your likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions. Remember to treat others the way that you want to be treated. And as always, much love from the 918. Peace out, and I hope you all have a good one.